Welcome to the JWK show. Hope you guys are having a great day. We do have another very exciting episode XRP update for you guys today. Definitely watch through the entire show and don't forget to check out our sponsor as well, crypto exchange BITUNIX. The link is in the description below. Now, this is what we call an NDA. Let's take a look at this video. We have Jake Claver.
We got Zachary. Man, he says, hey, Legend, do you know something about XRP and its anticipated timeline that you are not permitted to tell us?
Right, we had the XRP insiders giving us many different timelines.
Skip that one. Appreciate the super chat, Zach. Hopefully, you're as excited as I am.
Very interesting response reaction from Jay Claver, where we do have a lot of insiders pretending to be bearish on XRP. We do have a ton of NDAs. Could this be an NDA? Ripple with over 1,700 different NDAs. Now we do have from Paul Barron, we have Forbes discovering that Ripple went from a zombie blockchain to a $180 billion infrastructure play. We had Forbes having a massive FUD hit piece on Ripple XRP, calling XRP a zombie blockchain. But now with the recent acquisitions happening, with Ripple winning the case against the SEC, we now have Forbes changing their stance on Ripple, now calling Ripple a power play move, a 50 billion infrastructure play. We do have the 9 number, A plus 1 is 9. And after years in regulatory hell, Ripple is now acquiring licensed custody and tokenization firms, building institutional grade Solomon rails, positioning XRP as plumbing for tokenized finance. And they are essentially becoming the AWS of blockchain liquidity, while traditional finance institutions queue up. Thus, we do have the acquisition of Hidden Road being complete and Hidden Road being renamed into Ripple Prime, right? We do have essentially, as Brad Garlinghouse has said, Ripple becoming the Amazon of payments. So glad to see that Forbes is changing their stance on Ripple XRP, but guys, at the end of the day, they are just a controlled 1% media outlet. And so guys, this is all just FUD, or before FUD from the 1%. Now the 1% are opening the public up to XRP, as we do have mainstream adoption coming in with the ISO 20022 migration and Clarity Act as well. So we do have from Forbes, Ripple's $180 billion reinvention is reshaping global finance from cross-border liquidity to institutional infrastructure. It's building the next generation of real-world payment rails. So if you guys don't know what Ripple is doing, what XRP is, we do have the perfect explanation from Forbes. We do have Ripple XRP essentially becoming the new financial system, offering real-world payment rails, cross-border liquidity, and institutional infrastructure for banks, institutions, and players that run the global financial system. But the big question is, we can see from the Forbes hit piece, we have the next big question for Ripple is whether it can turn its acquisitions into a unified system that actually drives value back to Ripple's core technology, the XRP ledger. So at the end, guys, will we see the entire financial system through acquisitions, partnerships, third-party affiliations, and so on, using XRP and the XRP ledger? And on top of that, today also marks the 120-day review for its national bank license. We had the 3 number. We could see Ripple getting their national trust bank license today if it gets approved. We can see we have the documentation over here. Ripple National Trust Bank interagency chapter application. We do have Ripple setting themselves to become a bank, one of the biggest banks in the future if this happens, if not the biggest, flipping Bank of America, JP Morgan, and so on. And today marks the end of the OCC's 120-day review of Ripple's application to establish Ripple National Trust Bank. If approved, Ripple becomes a federally regulated bank, an historic step for XRP and digital finance, all happening on a 13-date Halloween symbolic day. And as David Short said, he's been waiting for Halloween to happen on a Friday. We have Friday the 13th. And with that happening, we see big macro events such as their bank charter, their National Trust Bank application getting approved today. We see that happening. And we could see the government shutdown also ending today as well. We have President Trump calling for Republicans to initiate the nuclear option and the Senate. The nuclear option refers to a procedural maneuver where the majority party unilaterally changes Senate rules, typically by a simple majority vote. 51 votes are 50, with the vice president as tiebreaker, to lower or eliminate the 60-vote threshold required to end debate closure on most legislation, which means that we will see and immediately end the shutdown, swiftly restoring SNAP benefits and federal services, e.g. national parks, IRS processing, while scoring political points. And this means that we could see the passing of, again, Ripple's application to establish Ripple National Trust Bank. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one.